Alert! If you are hearing this, it means that destiny has decided to place in your hands the last opportunity to change your life once and for all. How many times have you dreamed of that life of wealth and success, but it always seems out of reach? No more. Today is the day when everything can change. God has released an urgent message, one that can unlock the fortune you've always desired. But beware, this opportunity is so powerful that it won't be available for long. Are you ready to discover how you can go from scarcity to abundance in the blink of an eye? This is not a message for just anyone. It's for you, who are tired of watching others prosper while you're stuck in the routine. It's for you, who deep down know that you deserve much more. And the best part, you don't need to wait any longer. The life of your dreams is closer than you think, but only if you act now. Fortune doesn't wait, and this could be your only chance to receive the financial blessing that God has reserved for you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that what you've always desired is right in front of you. The life you've always dreamed of can be yours, but time is running out, and this window of opportunity could close at any moment. Don't let fear or doubt stop you this time. Because what you're about to discover has the potential to transform not just your financial life, but every aspect of your existence. Are you really willing to let this opportunity slip through your fingers? Everything you've been waiting for is within your reach. But only if you dare to take control and move forward with what God is showing you. Don't think twice. Fortune doesn't wait for anyone, and opportunities like this don't come around twice. Like this video, keep listening, and get ready to receive the message that could change your life forever. This is your last call. Don't waste it. Faith is like an invisible compass that guides us through life's storms. When everything around us seems to be falling apart, it is faith that keeps us grounded, reminding us that there is a greater purpose in every challenge. It's not just a passive belief but an active force that shapes our actions, decisions, and ultimately, our destiny. Those who keep the faith, even in the toughest circumstances, find strengths they never imagined they had. That strength doesn't come from the outside world, but from a deep place within each of us. In our daily lives, it's easy to get lost in the small frustrations and challenges we face. But faith calls us to look beyond the immediate, to see with the eyes of the heart. When you face a difficulty, ask yourself, what does my faith say about this? That simple act of reflection can transform a situation of despair into an opportunity for growth. For example, when facing a financial crisis, instead of succumbing to fear, you can remember that there is always a solution when you trust in something greater. And that trust can manifest in concrete actions, like seeking new opportunities or helping someone in need, knowing that the return will come. Faith doesn't eliminate problems, but it gives us the right perspective to face them. It's like a pair of glasses that allows us to see beyond the surface and understand that every challenge brings a valuable lesson. When we embrace this vision, life stops being a series of obstacles to overcome and becomes a journey of learning and discovery. Imagine someone who loses their job. Instead of despairing, faith can inspire that person to see the situation as an opportunity to reinvent their career, maybe even to pursue an old dream that has been postponed for so long. Faith connects us to something greater than ourselves. It reminds us that we are not alone on this journey. There is a divine force that supports and guides us, even when we can't see the road ahead. This connection is like a warm embrace in moments of loneliness, offering comfort and hope. And by connecting with this higher power, we also become more capable of connecting with others, creating a network of support and love that strengthens our faith. A practical example is how faith can influence our daily decisions. When we make decisions based on faith, we are not just reacting to what happens around us, We are acting based on an internal conviction that there is a greater plan at play. This might mean choosing to forgive, even when it seems impossible, or opting to be honest, even when it's tempting to take the easier path. These seemingly small decisions are powerful manifestations of faith in action. Faith also challenges us to be resilient. Instead of giving up at the first difficulty, it encourages us to persevere, to keep believing even when the results are not immediate. This resilience is what transforms ordinary people into heroes of real life. Think of historical figures who overcame great adversities. Like Nelson Mandela or Martin Luther King Jr., they were not moved solely by logic or reason, but by an unwavering faith in their principles and a better future. And that faith, ultimately, changed the world. In times of uncertainty, it's natural for doubts to arise. But it is precisely in those moments that faith shows its true power. It gives us the courage to continue, even when we don't have all the answers. Imagine being on a boat in the middle of a storm, without seeing firm land ahead. Faith is like an anchor that keeps us stable, even when the waves of doubt threaten to knock us down. And when the storm finally passes, we realize that faith kept us on the right course. Faith also teaches us about patience. It reminds us that not everything happens in our time but at the right time. This can be hard to accept, especially in a society that values instant gratification. But faith invites us to trust that, even when things seem to be delayed, there is a greater reason behind every delay. It's like planting a seed and waiting for it to grow. There's no point in forcing it. Growth takes time, and every phase is important. Another important aspect of faith is its ability to transform us from within. It's not just about believing in something external, but allowing that belief to change who we are at our core. Over time, faith molds us, makes us more compassionate, more patient, stronger. It's no coincidence that many people who practice faith consistently are seen as anchors in their communities. They radiate a peace and confidence that inspires those around them. But faith also challenges us to act. It's not an excuse for passivity, but a call to action. When we believe in something greater, we are inspired to live according to those beliefs, to make a difference in the world around us. This can manifest in small daily actions, like offering a word of encouragement to a friend or volunteering to help someone in need. These actions, moved by faith, have an impact far beyond what we can imagine. And this is how faith becomes the foundation of a full life. It's not just about believing but living according to that belief, allowing it to guide every thought, every decision, every action. When we do this, we begin to realize that faith is not just a part of life, it is life. And the more we surrender to this truth, the more we discover the depth and beauty that life can offer. It's important to remember that faith is not something that is attained once and for all. It's a continuous journey, a process of growth and maturation. As we face new challenges, our faith is tested and strengthened. And every trial, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity to grow even more. That's why it's essential to nurture that faith daily, through prayer, meditation, and acts of kindness. These practices help us maintain our connection to the divine and strengthen our faith. Faith gives us a sense of purpose. It reminds us that we are here for a reason, that our lives have meaning and direction. This sense of purpose is what keeps us motivated, even when things get tough. When we know we are living according to a greater purpose, the challenges we face become more bearable. They stop being obstacles and become opportunities to fulfill our mission in life. Faith invites us to trust in the process of life. Even when things don't go as planned, faith reminds us that there is a reason for everything. It encourages us to let go of control and trust that, in the end, everything will fall into place. That trust is liberating. It allows us to live more lightly with less fear, knowing that we are being guided by a greater force. And it is that trust that opens the door to the next level of spiritual growth. Spiritual warfare is a reality that many underestimate, but it has a profound impact on our daily lives. It's not just about visible battles, but internal struggles, temptations, and distractions that try to pull us away from our spiritual path. These forces are not always obvious. They often manifest in subtle ways, like doubts, fears, or desires that, at first glance, seem harmless. However, it's crucial to always be on guard, recognizing that every negative thought or impulsive action may be part of a much larger battle. Imagine a normal day when everything seems to be going well until, suddenly, you find yourself irritated for no apparent reason. That's the kind of attack that happens in spiritual warfare. These small disturbances are tactics used to destabilize your inner peace and, consequently, your connection with the divine. The key to resisting these attacks is to be aware of them and not let yourself be carried away by the current. Practicing daily meditation or prayer can be an effective way to keep your mind focused and your spirit strengthened against these threats. Spiritual warfare is not only waged within us, but also in our environment. The people and situations we encounter can be influenced by these forces, and it's essential to be prepared to recognize them and act wisely. For example, when someone provokes you with hurtful words, the impulsive reaction might be to respond with more aggression. But by remembering that this is part of spiritual warfare, you can choose to respond with calm and compassion, thus neutralizing the attack and maintaining your peace. In the context of spiritual warfare, the armor we wear is not made of metal but of faith, prayer, and love. These are our shields against the negative energies that seek to unbalance us. Every time you choose forgiveness over revenge, peace over anger, or compassion over judgment, you are strengthening your spiritual armor. And even if you don't see the immediate results, these decisions have a transformative power that manifests in your life and the lives of those around you. It's important to recognize that we all face this war, regardless of how strong our faith is. No one is exempt from temptations or trials. However, what sets us apart is our preparation and our response to these battles. Those who practice spiritual vigilance, through prayer, reading sacred texts, and meditation, are better equipped to resist attacks and stay on course. That's why dedicating daily time to strengthening your spirit is not just an act of devotion, but a necessity for surviving on this battlefield. Spiritual warfare also teaches us about the importance of community. We are not alone in this fight. We are surrounded by other spiritual warriors who are also facing their own battles. Supporting each other, sharing our experiences, and praying for one another are ways to strengthen our collective defenses. When a community comes together in prayer and faith, it creates a protective shield that is much more powerful than any individual attack. It is in unity that we find true strength. Another critical aspect of spiritual warfare is humility. Recognizing that we don't always have control and that we need divine guidance is an act of humility that opens us up to receive the help we need. Sometimes, the greatest victory is not winning a battle, but surrendering to a higher power and trusting that He will fight for us. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. By doing so, we allow divine grace to work in our lives, protecting and guiding us through the storms. Spiritual warfare also reveals our weaknesses, but not to condemn us, rather to give us the opportunity to overcome them. Every time we fall into temptation or let ourselves be carried away by anger, it's a sign that there are areas in our life that need more attention and strengthening. Instead of discouraging us, we can see these falls as opportunities to grow and improve. The key is to get up and keep going, learning from each experience and using that knowledge to be stronger in the next battle. In this combat, Knowledge is power. Knowing the enemy's tactics and how these invisible forces operate is essential to avoid falling into their traps. Ignorance is the greatest ally of these forces, as they operate best in the dark. But spiritual warfare is not just defensive, it is also offensive. It's not just about resisting attacks, but about taking action to advance on our spiritual path. This can mean making conscious decisions to strengthen our faith, like participating in service activities, dedicating more time to prayer, or even changing habits that pull us away from our spiritual purpose. These actions are like offensives that allow us to gain ground in this battle, bringing us closer to our true nature and purpose. It's important to remember that every battle in spiritual warfare is an opportunity to demonstrate our faith and grow spiritually. We should not fear these trials, but see them as opportunities to strengthen and purify our spirit. Every time we face a challenge with courage and faith, we are accumulating spiritual victories that prepare us for even greater challenges. Faith, prayer, and community are our most powerful weapons in this ongoing struggle. Spiritual warfare can seem overwhelming, but it's important to remember that we are not alone. We not only have divine help but also our angels and spiritual guides, who are always by our side, ready to assist us every step of the way. Invoking their help in moments of weakness or confusion can make a huge difference. These beings of light are here to support, guide, and protect us in this ongoing battle. In spiritual warfare, every choice counts. From the thoughts we allow into our minds to the actions we take, everything contributes to our position in this battle. That's why it's essential to always be aware of our decisions and their impact on our spiritual life. Keeping our minds and hearts aligned with the divine will ensure that we are fighting on the right side of this war. Trusting in divine guidance is like walking along a lit path in the midst of darkness. Although we don't always see the whole path, each step we take with faith brings us closer to our destination. Life is full of decisions, and we often find ourselves at crossroads where we don't know which direction to take. It's in those moments that divine guidance becomes our beacon, showing us the right way, even when it seems there is no clear answer. The key is to trust, not in what we see, but in what we feel deep in our hearts. Divine guidance doesn't always manifest in an obvious way. It often comes as a subtle intuition or a feeling of peace when making a decision. It's that inner voice that softly whispers to us, giving us the certainty that we are on the right path. Listening to this voice requires practice and, above all, trust. A practical example is when you face a difficult decision, like changing jobs or moving to a new city. Instead of being carried away by fear or uncertainty, you can seek divine guidance through prayer or meditation, patiently waiting for the answer. Divine guidance often comes through signs in our daily lives. These signs can be small coincidences, words from a friend, or even something we read in a book that resonates deeply with us. The key is to be alert and receptive to these signs, without dismissing them as mere coincidences. When we learn to recognize and follow these signs, we realize that life is constantly guiding us toward our purpose. An example of this might be when you're considering a new opportunity, and suddenly, several people mention the same thing without knowing what you're thinking. Those are signs that should not be ignored. Trusting in divine guidance also involves letting go of control and accepting that we don't always know what's best for us. Sometimes, what we believe to be a setback is actually a blessing in disguise. Looking back, many people realize that the most difficult moments of their lives were the ones that led them to the greatest blessings. An example of this is when you lose a job only to discover months later that that loss led you to a much better opportunity. Divine guidance always takes us where we need to be, even if we don't understand it at the time. Divine guidance also manifests through the people we meet. Often, God sends the right people into our lives at just the right moment to offer us advice, support, or simply to be a role model. These people can be friends, family, or even strangers who cross our path for a brief moment but leave a lasting impression. Wisdom lies in recognizing that these interactions are not coincidences, but part of a greater plan. A practical example is when you're seeking guidance and suddenly meet someone who has gone through a similar situation and can offer you the perspective you needed. The answer we seek doesn't always come immediately. It's easy to become desperate and make hasty decisions, but true wisdom lies in waiting with faith. Patience is a virtue that is cultivated with the trust that, at the right time, divine guidance will manifest. It's like planting a seed and waiting for it to germinate. We cannot rush the process, but we can be sure that, with time and proper care, the answer will blossom. Trusting in divine guidance gives us the strength to face adversity with serenity. Knowing that we are being guided by a higher power frees us from the weight of excessive worry. This doesn't mean we don't make our own decisions, but we do the best we can and then trust that God will lead us to the right outcome. It's a balance between action and faith, a dance between doing what is within our control and letting go of what is beyond our control. This trust gives us an inner peace that nothing in the world can shake. In practice, following divine guidance may require making decisions that don't always seem logical to others or even to ourselves. Sometimes, the path shown to us may be different from the one we had planned, but trusting in this guidance means being willing to deviate from our path to follow the one given to us. An example of this is when someone leaves a secure career to pursue a passion that seems uncertain, but ultimately leads to a fuller and more satisfying life. Divine guidance takes us to what is truly ours, not just to what we think we want. It's also crucial to remember that divine guidance is not something we should seek only in times of crisis. In fact, the more we cultivate a daily relationship with God, the easier it is to hear His voice in moments of calm and to make decisions aligned with His will at all times. Prayer, meditation, and daily reflection are practices that keep us in tune with this guidance, allowing us to live a more conscious and divinely directed life. Thus, every decision, no matter how small, becomes a step toward fulfilling our purpose. Divine guidance also teaches us about humility. It reminds us that no matter how much we plan or try to control, there is a higher force that has the complete picture. This humility is not passive resignation but an active acceptance that we are not alone on this journey and that by surrendering to the divine will, we open the door to the greatest blessings. An example of this is when a plan doesn't materialize as we expected, only to realize later that there was a better option we hadn't considered. Another fundamental point is that divine guidance offers us a broader perspective on life. It helps us see our experiences, both good and bad, as part of a larger whole. When we trust that every experience has a purpose, even the most difficult challenges become more bearable. We realize that we are not being punished but prepared for something greater. This perspective allows us to navigate life with more grace and less resistance, accepting each stage as part of our spiritual growth. Trusting in divine guidance also allows us to live with less fear. When we know we are being guided, we can move forward with more courage, knowing that even though the path is uncertain, we are not alone. This trust gives us the freedom to explore new opportunities, step out of our comfort zone, and take risks, knowing that whatever happens, we are being supported by a force that loves and protects us. It is this trust that allows us to live fully, without the chains of fear that often prevent us from being who we truly are. Prayer is much more than words spoken into the air. It is a direct connection with the divine, a channel of communication that strengthens our faith and protects us from negative influences. Through prayer, we not only speak with God but also open our hearts to receive His guidance and love. It is in these moments of sincere and humble dialogue that we find the strength to face life's challenges with serenity and confidence. Prayer is our refuge in times of storm and our gratitude in moments of joy. When we face difficulties, prayer acts as a shield that protects us from despair and doubt. It is like a balm for the wounded soul, bringing peace and clarity in the midst of chaos. Many times, we find ourselves in situations where we don't know what to do or whom to turn to. In those moments, prayer offers us a space to release our burdens and trust that God is in control. It's not necessary to have the perfect words. What matters is the sincerity with which we address Him. Prayer not only connects us with God, but also with ourselves. By taking the time to pray, we are cultivating a deeper relationship with our spiritual essence. It is a moment of introspection where we can reflect on our actions, thoughts, and intentions. Through prayer, we become more aware of our needs and desires, while at the same time, we open ourselves to the divine will. This internal and external connection is what allows us to live with more authenticity and purpose. A practical example of how prayer can transform our life is when we are facing a difficult decision. Instead of being carried away by stress or anxiety, we can turn to prayer to find peace and clarity. By doing so, we give ourselves the space to listen to the inner voice that guides us toward the best decision. Even when we don't receive an immediate answer, prayer gives us the patience and faith to wait with confidence, knowing that God is working in our lives. Prayer is a powerful tool for combating the negative influences that surround us. We live in a world full of distractions and temptations that can pull us away from our spiritual path. Prayer acts as a protective shield that helps us stay focused on what really matters. By starting and ending the day with a prayer, we are establishing a spiritual barrier that protects us from negative energies and keeps us aligned with God's will. Prayer also gives us the strength to overcome emotional and mental challenges. In moments of sadness, fear, or anguish, prayer can be an incomparable comfort. By raising our concerns to God, we are releasing the weight of our burdens and allowing His peace to fill our hearts. This peace not only provides temporary relief, but also gives us the strength to move forward with renewed hope and determination. It is a constant reminder that we are not alone and that there is always a divine hand ready to hold us. Prayer helps us maintain humility, reminding us that we depend on God at all times. It's easy to fall into the trap of ego and think that we can handle everything on our own. But prayer reminds us of our vulnerability and our need for His guidance. This humility keeps us on the right path, preventing us from straying due to pride or self-sufficiency. By acknowledging our dependence on God, we become more open to His guidance and more willing to follow His will in every aspect of our lives. Prayer is also a tool for discerning God's will in our lives. Sometimes, we find ourselves in situations where we don't know which is the right path to follow. In those moments, prayer offers us clarity and direction. By asking God to show us His will, we are opening our hearts to His guidance and trusting that He will lead us down the path that is best for us. This surrender to His will is a deep act of faith that helps us live with more purpose and alignment with our divine destiny. In prayer, we also find the strength to face moments of trial and tribulation. Life is full of challenges, and sometimes those challenges can seem overwhelming. But through prayer, we find the inner strength to persevere, knowing that God is with us every step of the way. This confidence in His presence gives us the courage to face any adversity, assured that no matter how difficult the trial, we will emerge victorious if we keep our faith. Prayer connects us with God's unconditional love. It is in these moments of intimacy with the divine that we feel His love most deeply, a love that does not depend on our actions or merits but is always present, always available. This love envelopes us and strengthens us, giving us the assurance that we are loved just as we are and that there is always hope, even in the darkest moments. It is this love that gives us the strength to continue, to keep believing, and to remain steadfast in our faith. Purpose and mission are like the compass and map that guide us on the journey of life. Without a clear sense of why we are here and what we are meant to do, it is easy to get lost in the daily routine, feeling that life is just a series of disconnected events. But when we discover our purpose, each day takes on new meaning, each action serves a greater purpose. The mission we have been given is not something to be taken lightly. It is the reason we are here, the call that gives meaning to our existence. Discovering our purpose can seem like an overwhelming task, but it is a process that unfolds gradually, often through the experiences we live and the passions we cultivate. It's not always something that emerges immediately. Sometimes, we need to go through different stages in life to finally understand what our true mission is. An example of this could be someone who, after years in a career that doesn't fulfill them, decides to follow their passion for helping others and becomes a community leader or mentor. It is in these moments of clarity that our purpose aligns with the divine will. The mission we have been given is intrinsically linked to our gifts and talents. Each of us has been blessed with unique abilities that are meant to be used for the common good. Identifying and cultivating these gifts is essential to fulfilling our mission. Sometimes, these talents may seem insignificant or irrelevant, but when put in the service of a greater purpose, they acquire transformative power. Imagine an artist who, through their work, inspires others to see the beauty in the world, or a teacher who, with patience and dedication, guides their students toward a better future. It's important to remember that our purpose is not static. It can evolve throughout life. As we grow and learn, our experiences shape us and lead us to new realizations about what we are called to do. This evolution is not a sign of instability, but of continuous growth. Life is a dynamic journey, and being open to changes in our mission is part of fully embracing our purpose. It's like a river that flows, always in motion, adapting to the challenges of the terrain while continuing its course toward the ocean. On the path to fulfilling our mission, it is inevitable to face obstacles and distractions. We live in a world full of noise, where it is easy to lose sight of what really matters. It is in these moments that we must remember the importance of discipline and focus. Staying true to our purpose requires a conscious effort not to be carried away by the currents of doubt or comfort. A practical example is setting clear goals and regularly reviewing them to ensure that we are moving in the right direction. Community plays a crucial role in our mission. We are not meant to walk alone. Our mission often involves serving and collaborating with others. The relationships we form, the people we help, and the connections we create are all essential parts of our purpose. Through these interactions, we not only fulfill our mission, but also help others discover theirs. It is a cycle of mutual support and growth, where every action we take in line with our purpose has an impact beyond what we can see. Purpose also gives us a reason to persevere, even in the most difficult moments. When we face challenges, the clarity of our mission offers us a deeper motivation to keep going. We know that what we are doing has a greater meaning, and that gives us the strength to overcome the trials. Imagine an athlete who, despite pain and exhaustion, continues to train because they know that their effort is not just to win a medal, but to inspire others to reach their full potential. This perspective gives us the energy we need to continue, even when the road becomes difficult. It's fundamental to understand that our purpose is not just for our personal benefit. We are here to make a difference in the world, to leave a legacy that inspires and elevates others. Every action we take in alignment with our mission contributes to a greater good, creating a positive impact that transcends our lives. This broader vision allows us to see beyond our own needs and desires and motivates us to act with generosity and compassion. It is in this service to others that we find true fulfillment. The pursuit of our purpose also invites us to live with authenticity. We cannot fulfill our mission if we are not true to who we really are. This means having the courage to be ourselves, to express our truths, and to live according to our values, even when it's difficult or unpopular. Authenticity is a powerful force that attracts the right people and opens doors to opportunities that are in alignment with our purpose. When we live this way, our lives become a living manifestation of our mission. Purpose and mission also offer us a sense of peace and satisfaction that nothing else can provide. When we know that we are living according to our purpose, there is a sense of fullness that fills our lives. This inner peace is not the absence of challenges, but the certainty that we are on the right path, doing what we have been called to do. It's a feeling that transcends external circumstances and gives us the confidence to keep going, knowing that our lives have deep and lasting meaning. The mission we have been given is a sacred responsibility. We should not take it lightly or postpone its fulfillment for a tomorrow that never comes. Every day is an opportunity to advance our purpose, to take one more step toward the realization of our mission. This responsibility invites us to act with integrity, dedication, and commitment, knowing that our actions today have an impact on the future. It is a call to live with purpose, to be intentional in everything we do. It's essential to remember that although our mission is important, we are not responsible for doing it all on our own. Divine guidance is always available to us, offering support, wisdom, and direction every step of the way. Trusting in this guidance allows us to move forward with more confidence and less fear, knowing that we are not alone on this journey. It is a reminder that we are collaborating with the divine in fulfilling our mission, and that every step we take is guided by a higher force that loves and cares for us. Purpose and mission offer us a life of meaning and transcendence. We are not here just to exist. We are here to live fully, to leave a positive mark on the world, and to fulfill the purpose that has been given to us. When we embrace our mission with all our heart, we find a joy and satisfaction that nothing else can offer. It is a life lived in alignment with who we truly are, and it is in this alignment that we find true fulfillment. At this point, only one question remains. What are you going to do with everything you've learned? Because knowing is not enough. It is action that transforms lives. God has shown you the path to abundance, given you the tools to change your destiny, but only you can take the next step. Are you ready to leave scarcity behind and embrace the prosperity that is waiting for you? Or are you going to allow this opportunity to fade away like so many others? It is no coincidence that you have made it this far. If something within you is telling you that this is your moment, then it's time to listen to that voice and act. Don't let fear rob you of the blessing that God has prepared for you. Remember, the difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't is the decision to act. Don't let regret be your companion in the future. Today is the day to take the first step toward the life you've always desired. Now I invite you to deeply reflect on what you've heard. What will you do differently from today? What decisions will you make to bring yourself closer to that life of abundance that God wants for you? This is the moment to commit to your own growth, to set aside excuses, and to take control of your destiny. Because true transformation begins when we decide that we will no longer accept less than we deserve. If this message has resonated in your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share this blessing with others, because you never know who you might be helping to find their own path to prosperity. And before you go, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Here you will continue to receive powerful messages that will guide and inspire you on your spiritual and financial journey. Don't miss any videos because each one could be the key to unlocking new blessings in your life. This is the beginning of something big, something that only you can make a reality. But remember, time doesn't wait, and opportunities like this are rare. So act now, and prepare to see how God works miracles in your life. See you in the next video, where we will continue to explore how to live a life of faith, abundance, and purpose. May God bless you in every step you take toward the life you deserve.